I'm doing a specific video for another YouTuber, not that I really call myself that, who goes by Mythymoo, who's a gamer on here who I wanted to give some tips and tricks for Nioh, which he just picked up and I happen to love. So, Mythy, I'm going to be directly addressing you from this point on. So, I love Nioh. I've played, I don't know, 800-900 hours worth of this game, something like that. And noticed you picked it up recently, and also noticed you play it like you'd play Dark Souls. Which I understand, but you are missing out, brother. Missing out big time. So the biggest difference between this and that is the stance system, and you're just playing everything in medium stance. And for the most part, you're just using regular attacks, and you're not really using too many skills. I think I saw you use this thing once, which probably doesn't do a whole lot for you at the moment. With the stances, you get all sorts of different attacks that you really should use. Not only that, there's a lot of skills, let alone just your normal attacks. Oops. I noticed you had some skill points down in the lower left-hand corner like I do. There's a little sword symbol with a 14, then a little, like, shuriken with 133 next to it on mine. Use up your skill points. Learn skills. They will help you immensely. This character happens to also use an Adachi. I figured I'd do that just to make this make more sense. The ones you want to pick up first are the Ki Pulse Heaven, Living Water Heaven, Ki Pulse Man, Living Water Man, Ki Pulse Earth, Living Water Earth. Quick description of these. The description in here is incorrect. The low and middle do not increase the damage caused by your next attack. Only the high one does. And what that means is when you do a perfect Ki Pulse, if you look at my debuff and buff bar underneath my health and energy, my Ki, if you do a perfect Ki Pulse, it gives you a buff. The more Ki you get back, the longer that buff lasts. So on high attack, it increases the damage of your next attack. Mid attack, what it does is it gives you a free block. So the next block you do won't cost you any Ki. Low attack makes your next dodge free. So instead of your next dodge costing anything, it's free. Only high attack increases how much damage it does. But that's anytime you do a perfect Ki Pulse. Which is the thing that gets rid of the, that like shadowy shit that they put on the ground. The big mobs there. Now with that, you can change stances at the end of a Ki Pulse. This is a different move. It's called Flux. And it will give you back more Ki than just the red bar you're missing. So if I just do a Ki Pulse, it fills it up to the red point, and then it fills normally past that. See? Now if I change stances in the middle of that, or right the perfect one, you'll notice it'll fill up all the way. Oops, if I do it properly. So it'll fill up at a higher amount. See, it basically doubles how much Ki you get back. It's very handy in fights. The next thing that's really super handy is you can Ki Pulse and get that same buff without doing a Ki Pulse. You can do it by dodging. That's where the secondary one comes in. Living Water. High stance enables you to Ki Pulse when dodging. So anytime, and it's one for each stance. So you get your full Ki Pulse, you do the Purification as well, all at the same time, and you get to dodge. Super useful. You can also completely change stances in the middle of doing moves. In the middle of... You can switch stances at any given moment. Each of the stances also gives you various bonuses. So low stance, your dodges cost almost nothing, and they're always these quick little steps. And you get a decent amount of iframes in that. Mid stance, you do a slightly longer step, and with the second button push, you do a roll. This is the one you're using all the time. You don't need to do the roll unless you happen to want distance. You get the same amount of iframes in the step as you do the roll. You just get a second set of iframes. High stance, you only do the roll, and it costs more. So the key cost changes. You do this, it costs the most, down to 153. That's 161, and this costs, I think, 6. And you can do a bunch of these in a row. See how little my key is really changing? Whereas this, there's a bit of a cooldown, and you'll run out of key quickly. Same thing with this. Little cooldown, and you'll run out of key. But you can do an attack in high stance, switch to low, and then jump back. So, in the middle of doing your attack, switch to low, you can move. It takes a little bit of practice to move around, but I've seen your fingers work on all the other games. I'm sure you'll get that. Another couple of things with some items. I use almost none of these, just because I don't really ever find them useful. Elixirs I use constantly. Antidotes, the couple times you get poisoned, they're useful. Same thing with the anti-paralytic needle. To that spider boss you fought, she's more like a vampire. I forget her name right now. Doesn't matter. That's really great for her. The second you get paralyzed, you pop that, you're not paralyzed anymore. The one I wanted to talk about are these locks. You'll pick these up every now and then. Samurai's locks, ninja's locks, and Nioh mage locks. And they just give you skill points in the various skill trees. So either samurai, ninja, or Nioh. They're super useful. The next thing that's useful are these, the spirit stones. So you see it used to receive 2000 Amrita. It's like a soul thing in the Dark Souls or a blood pack in the Bloodborne. And it gives you Amrita, which you can use to spend on things. Also, what it does while you're playing, so I have one equipped on my thing on the down button, it will charge your living weapon. So you notice that filled it up about 3/4 or so. So you can charge your living weapon in the middle of combat if you need to. Like if in a boss battle and you don't have it, you can pop a couple of those things and charge your living weapon. Living weapon isn't quite as broke as you think it is, unless your game hasn't been updated. It looks like you're playing on the PC, so if you don't have all the updates, it might be broken, because it used to be ridiculous. It's gotten nerfed. It's still super powerful, though. Don't neglect your Nioh. There are some amazing things in there that are stupendously useful. They are and are not situational. Use them, however, just don't ignore them. There's some really cool stuff in there. I'm not going to go over it all. Read through it and see them. These are the ones I happen to use. So the one to the left allows me to collect Amrita anytime I hit something, instead of just killing it. So it'll charge your living weapon all the time, which is fantastic, and it will, whilst using living weapon, gain you Amrita for every hit you do while in living weapon, thus then charging your living weapon while in living weapon, keeping it going longer. It's ridiculous with living weapon. The other one I have is down, gives me a buff to my damage and a debuff to how much damage I take, so I take more damage. The other one heals me. It's just a healing over time, which is just kind of useful. One last thing I want to go over here is equipment sets. So there's a bunch of different sets that give set bonuses. So here's the set bonus page. Technically I only have 3 pieces of this, even though I have the 4 set bonus. That's due to one of these things, this thing here, the Yakasami Magatama, which you can only get after you've beaten the game once, but what it does is reduces the set bonus requirement by 1 piece. So if you have 3 pieces, you get the 4-piece bonus. which is kind of cool. And they give some very powerful bonuses. So the ones here that are the best are the equipment weight damage bonus, which the heavier my equipment is, the more damage I do, and then the close combat damage, which is any damage done with your weapons in close combat. So no ranged weapons, no spells, no ninjutsu bonus, only your regular weapons. Same basic thing with this. So different armors have different set pieces and set bonuses. Find the ones you want to use. These happen to be, I think, one of the strongest in the game. This hasn't gone all the way in, and I haven't done a bunch of farming to get all the good stuff. This just happens to be what I threw together to kind of run through the game, just because it is decently strong and it's not too difficult to get. Speaking of armor sets, you're not going to find them. You can craft them, but crafting them at the point you're at in the game is nearly impossible. You don't have the materials or all the resources all together to get this stuff in order to craft it. What you can do is Revenants. This one doesn't happen to be one. This is just a regular learn. Oh no, it is a normal. This is a real person. So, the real people, if you play online, you'll run into Revenants that are actual players who died from whatever. They drop their armor pieces and their weapons. You can get full sets by killing Revenants. So you can get a full set of armor like I have, and all the set bonuses, and that'll help you immensely. The one you tend to run into at your level is going to be the Red Demon armor, which is really cool. I'm going to back out of this so I can show you a couple other things. Back at the main menu. But the Red Demon armor set will give you like reduction in dodging, I think, and it'll give you close combat damage increase. I think at the 4-piece probably. Some really cool stuff. Some things to check out. And then another couple quick things on the menus that you can that are super useful. So at the starting point, one, the dojo, there are all of these things, all these different missions. Each one of them gives you various bonuses and all sorts of different things. They'll unlock all the different skills for your weapons. So like the Odachi, you'll notice a bunch of things are locked. Apparently, oh, it's down here, that's why. So you have to unlock those skills by doing the various missions for the specific weapons and for everything else. So you need your Odachi proficiency to be 500,000 before you can unlock the highest one. But there's other ones lower down that will unlock various skills, which will help you do more stuff with the Odachi and all the various weapons. So these are kind of important to do to get your all of your other skills. The next thing is the hidden tea house. This is kind of the PvP area. All PvP in this game is voluntary, unlike Dark Souls. You have to agree to do it at all times. Here, you want to come down to transfer. And what this is all the various clans during this period of Japan. So Ishida, Tokugawa, Toyotomi, Date, Honda, Todo, blah 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 blah, Oda. So the only real reason for these is you'll notice there's something called crest protection there, and each one gives you different bonuses. They're all the time just static bonuses that are just there. So the one I have is Honda, which gives 7% for skill damage. Skills are anything you buy in that skills page. Anything you have to activate in that is considered a skill. Your normal attacks are not skills. Only those things are. The other thing I have is damage half and full life, which basically means 40% of the time, if something was going to one-shot me, it will not. I'll only take half damage, which is kind of nice. But there's a bunch of different ones. Pick the one that fits your playstyle and what you want to have. There's tons of them. I'm not going to go over all of them. Look at them and find the one you like. Some are more useful than others. The one that gets used the most is this one, because it gives you 15% extra attack damage to living weapon. This is one of the most common ones, just because living weapon is super powerful, as you've found out. I believe that's pretty much the last thing I wanted to go over. The Torii Gate, that's for summoning people if you want to co-op. You can also do this through the shrine when you're inside of a level. There's an item you can prof up for it, and you can summon people, up to 2 people. The blacksmiths have a ton of things, but most of this is for later on. Buy and sell stuff from them, disassemble a bunch of things. Reforging is taking the stats that are on your equipment and doing a random roll to get new stats, which is great for getting a set of armor that's incredible, but you need a ton of materials and a lot of luck to do it. Soul matching basically takes, if you have that item set, like that red demon armor I was talking about, and you it's a low level and you want it a higher level, doesn't matter quite as much for armor, more matters for weapons, but it's good for armor as well. So you have a weapon that has specific stats on it that you really like. You want those stats. You go to soul matching and you take the old one with a new piece of weapon, that is a higher level, and you're basically matching the levels. I'll just make an example. So if I take my my Odachi, which is level 187 plus 114, the plus 114 thing comes later on. And then I find something that's a higher level than it, if I have anything, which I don't. Oh, there we go. So that's 216. I don't have enough money for it. Do you see the difference, though? It makes a huge difference for the damage. Goes up almost 100 points. And it would actually go up more, because that 1799 is with full familiarity. The higher your familiarity is with your weapon, the higher your attack coefficient's going to be. Anytime you soul match, your familiarity goes back to 0. So the 1799 going up to 1880, once it's back up to max familiarity, would be even higher. So you can do that for both weapons and armor if you happen to find something you really like. You want to keep it, lock it, and then soul match it later to upgrade its level so you can keep using it. Refashion is you can just make anything you have look like anything else you can currently make. None of this really makes any difference. But that's really it. Thank you. Hopefully you'll watch this and see it. I'm going to post it up on your comments. I could have typed this all out, but that'd take way too damn long. I figured it'd be easier just to make a quick video. And that's it. Thanks for watching, Mythy, and I'll check you later. Thanks for the videos.